Hi everyone! I was reminded that recently I haven't published any colorings with watercolors, and I also remembered about one of my favorite books, Sweet Shoppe by Chris Pine, and I decided that I definitely want to do at least one picture in it in November. We will be coloring this picture with scales. Mostly I use my white nights watercolors, but I also added a couple of colors by Van Gogh. My brush is Quill Brush by Jackson's Art. I started from scales. First I did more highlighted part of them using cobalt blue very diluted with water. But then I remembered that paper in this book absorbs pigment, absorbs color, and after drying, color usually looks much paler and less intense. So later I tried to put more pigment and less water. For the shadow part of scales, I used indigo again from a white nights, but I also mixed into it a little bit of granulating watercolor oxide black from Van Gogh. Couple of days ago, I published video about what is granulating watercolors and about my first experience in using it. Here it was really helpful. It helped me to create this effect of slightly weathered metal, of nice shadow on the metal surface, so here it was really helpful. In this video I will do a watercolor underpaint, and in the second video I will be working with colored pencils on small details. For the metal bowl on the scales, I used mostly Payne's Gray. Diluted with water, it creates very nice color, very suitable to depict metal and steel. For the shadow parts, I again mixed a little bit of oxide black. Usually I never use black for shading in watercolors, but here it was quite interesting and I definitely need to research this more and to use oxide black if I want to do vintage looking pictures more often. Now I will try to color all wooden surfaces, so all the shelves and surface of the table. I use two shades of brown. One is slightly lighter, which is amber, and one is slightly darker for the shadow areas. For me, it's sepia. Amber I used as a main color, and with sepia I indicated shadow closer to the scales, near its base, and also in the right bottom corner. On the forefront we have a lot of interesting and yummy things. I started to color from these small jars, and I imagine that maybe inside we have some honey and some jam, just like small jars which we can get in the hotel for the breakfast, for example. So for the first jars where there is honey, I use Van Gogh watercolor, and it's very interesting green yellow color. You can see that on the left side I try to leave some uncolored highlighted area. Later I will use it when I will add details for the glass of the jar. And for three small jars I decided to do um, blackberry jam inside, so I used a little bit of quinacridone, quinacridone lilac, and a little bit of violet. Again, closer to the left color is slightly lighter, and closer to the right I dropped a little bit of violet. I really love these small details. For the cookies behind, I decided to use Van Gogh Naples Yellow Green. Usually I use this watercolor as a base for fair skin tone, but it's also very helpful for such cookies to show the, the color of the biscuit. So I used it as a basic layer, and then with a red ochre I did a little bit of shading. I imagined that in the bowl on the scales there is marshmallow, so I combined two shades of pink to color it slightly lighter and slightly more intense. On the right, on the big plate, I decided to color golden wrappings of these candies or maybe small cupcakes. Anyway, I used two shades of golden color. One is Indian gold and other one is golden. Both are really very nice instead of white nights watercolors. They can create interesting color shades from bright yellow to almost orange, depending from amount of water which you can add. So golden colors are one of my favorites. I believe that in White Nights we have three different shades of golden yellow colors, and all three are beautiful. Here I used two of them. One is more yellowish and one is more closer to the orange. The underpaint for this picture is almost finished, and in the second part we will be working on small details with colored pencils. I plan to use polychromos, then color softs, and I think coffee Normandelus watercolor pencils. So everything which I usually use in this book. I hope that you will join me in the second part.